Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968 at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee by James Earl Ray, a white supremacist. MLK was an incredibly influential leader of the civil rights movement, and he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. King's speeches were inspiring and his dreams for African Americans were anything but unreasonable, but someone felt the need to silence him. In the days following his death, riots and violence erupted across the US. Washington, D.C. glowed red from fires. King's death caused outrage among many Americans, and still does to this day. One must wonder, what if Martin Luther King Jr. was never assassinated? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments below what topics you would like to see next. Dr. King died at the age of 39. He had so much potential. He was highly against the Jim Crow laws that plagued America and made it impossible for African Americans to be considered equal. If he had not been assassinated, it is likely that the Jim Crow laws would have been abolished much sooner than they were. Dr. King was not supportive of international conflicts. He did not support the Vietnam War. Perhaps he would have done what he could have to campaign for an end to the war so it finished sooner. Similarly, if he were alive, perhaps he would have tried to persuade George W. Bush not to engage in the war on terror, which is now seen as a great regret in American history. Thousands of troops and civilians in the Middle East could still be alive today, though it is unclear whether or not America would have gone to war in the Middle East anyway. In the eyes of the American people, the atrocities of 9/11 needed to be responded to. It was the war in Iraq that was a grave mistake, one that we are still feeling the ripples of today. Who knows, perhaps Martin Luther King Jr. would have tried to run for office himself. Mr. King would have been an amazing president, perhaps one of the best, but it's likely he would not have been elected in the first place. King was a Republican from the Deep South, anti-abortion, and a National Rifle Association member, yet he lived in a time when rights for people of color were not equal, and that was something he made his mission to try and change. Perhaps he could have run for the Democratic Party, but he was also extremely opposed to the war in Vietnam, and he linked the war in Vietnam to the injustices seen in America at the time. He was also known as a socialist toward the end, though that may have been due to the circumstances at the time. Perhaps Dr. King wouldn't have run for office at all. He was known to not support electoral politics because he believed that it didn't solve anything. America was simply not ready for a black president. So perhaps if he had never been assassinated, he would have continued to give inspirational speeches condemning poverty in black neighborhoods and campaigning for civil rights, and quite possibly have succeeded in making America a better place for all, especially people of color. Perhaps he could have become a cabinet member, ambassador to the UN, or even a governor. Whatever he chose, Martin Luther King Jr. would have gone on to do great things, and may have even inspired someone else to become the first black US president, far before Obama. Sadly, Martin Luther King's death was one of the reasons why his legacy was so revered. His death elevated him to a larger-than-life figure. If he had lived, he would have been remembered, but likely not in the same way that he is today. How do you think the world would have been different if Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't assassinated? Let us know in the comments below. For now, I'm Charlotte Dobre for LBQ. If you like this topic, definitely check out our other video, What If JFK Had Lived? And don't forget to subscribe to Life's Biggest Questions for all of life's biggest answers.